Well, hi there. It's Tuesday evening, uh, September 24th. That means that it is journal number, let's go check and make sure, 178, T+175. Um, I just got home from a Tai Chi class and uh, and I was reminded of something. So we're going to do the blog post this evening on a subject other than that which I thought we were going to do it on. Funny how life does that to you. Um, but it's I think the first time I was exposed to this concept was reading reading a book by George Leonard, uh, famous writer, uh, who wrote a book called Mastery, which I highly recommend, by the way. But in Mastery, he touched on a number of really important life lessons. One of them was the concept of plateauing and how important it is not to get frustrated. But the one lesson that I took away from Mastery was wasn't wasn't necessarily the lesson that I'm sure Mr. Leonard wanted me to take away. It was an ancillary lesson, more or less, and it was the lesson of learning how to laugh at yourself, how not to take yourself too seriously. And the reason I was reminded of it was the level of frustration that I would have felt having been betrayed by my body in the respect that I can no longer do the things that I was capable of doing as well as I was once capable of doing them. Now, part of it's old age. I get that. Um, I just had a birthday and it was, a significant birthday, I think. Uh, However, a big part of it is still trying to recover from my illness and especially from the stem cell bone marrow transplant and the treatment that went along with it, especially the chemo and all the other things associated with that, and also being relatively dormant. Now, eat, walk, drink is a mantra that I embraced, and it was wonderful. But walking isn't the same as exercising the rest of your body, especially um, when you've been away long enough to have to relearn different forms. And the fact that not everybody does the identical form in Tai Chi, even if it's a derivative of the original Yang Family Tai Chi. So you get out on the floor where you're practicing these different combinations of movements, and you feel more or less like a klutz. And if you're not blessed with just feeling like you're clumsy, then it's very easy to get frustrated and feel stupid for even trying it. And that brings me to the second part, I guess, of this blog, and that is the way that you get good at doing things that you've never done before is by actually doing those things and working at it until you master whatever it is that you're doing. Easier said than done, naturally. Um, and that can come with a fair amount of frustration as well, especially when your body doesn't want to cooperate, when your balance isn't as good as it was, when even though you're walking, you're using different muscles than you would use if you were doing Tai Chi or a martial arts form, or if you are learning Tai Chi, um, and paying attention to the combat derivatives, the combat exercises or applications. And that's what I was doing this evening, and what I'll be doing again tomorrow night with a different instructor. Um, Only I don't get frustrated the way I used to. I'm taking George Leonard's advice right out of the pages of Mastery, and I'm actually looking at my behavior and saying, and literally laughing at how foolish um, I must look and how long it'll take me to recover and get back, and recognizing how patient I'll have to be in order to get even marginally close to where I once was. There are all kinds of life lessons in there, um, all kinds of lessons that we should all be aware of and that we can all learn from. One of them is not to get frustrated as easily as we all do. The second one is certainly not to get angry, to remain centered, um, to recognize the fact that you're in a different place with a different body, different skills and abilities, different wants, needs, and expectations. And that's okay. I mean, it has to be okay because there's not a whole lot you can do about it. The only thing you can do about it is, plug away at whatever it is you're doing. In my case, in the example that I'm using is, the Tai Chi long form, and then, make the best out of it. And when you do something silly, you do something that would have driven you nuts 5 or 10 years ago, that you just laugh it off and move on. It's kind of like breathing in meditation, right? It's like your monkey brain is going to try and beat you up. Whenever you do something like that, it's going to say, why are you doing that? People are going to laugh at you. You're going to look foolish. How could you do that? What are you trying to accomplish? You don't need to do that anymore. And the only way to get past it is to breathe, laugh at it for what it is, and then go back to work. If, of course, it's important to you, if it's important enough for you to devote the time, the energy, and the effort. Um, for me, in this particular case, in this particular example, with this particular example, it is the benefits far outweigh um, whatever negative aspects flow out of looking foolish or laughing at yourself, or being aware that there are probably more things that you can't do than you can any longer. But I know, as with yoga, for instance, that these exercises and poses and postures and the way they flow represent thousands of years of trial and error, experimentation to ensure the best possible physical condition and balance, which is critical as you get older, possible. So I guess the life lesson here is, don't take any of this stuff too seriously. Nobody gets out of here alive, right? It's like um, nobody's got a round trip ticket. So just enjoy. Just enjoy what you're doing. Um, and make sure that it's something that's important to you. Life is too short to invest your time into projects and opportunities that don't return a significant return on investment. And and that means things that make you smile, things that make you feel good, things that help you feel good about yourself, um, give you a sense of accomplishment, all of the above. So having made a jackass out of myself today in class more than once, that's the best advice I can give you. In the meantime, stay well, take care, and the next time you do something foolish, instead of getting angry and frustrated, just think of how silly you must have looked and laugh. Take care.